Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. I am doing just great. So today I'm going to be starting a couple of series of 2 guitar teardowns and builds. So I'm starting off with this one here first. This is the Warmoth body and neck. At least that's what I was told by the owner. And I'm going to get started with tearing this one down first, and then there'll be another video that'll be up soon of another teardown of another guitar body. So I'm going to start with getting all the parts and other stuff that are inside of this bag. Remove the guitar from the bag. It's not a bad case. I mean, I'm not crazy about guitar bags or cases, but this is not too bad. So as you can see, it's white. Wasn't really painted very well, but the paint held up as far as whoever did this. So I want to start with tearing off the strings. I want to measure this neck that is on this thing, because the owner says that the radius of this is a compound radius, and just by kind of looking at it, I don't really see it, but I will check it with the radius gauges just to make sure. So first off, taking off the strings. Alright, so I got the tuners off, got the nut off. The neck is obviously off the guitar. So it is what the owner said it is as far as the neck goes. The only thing is, whoever put this together drilled these holes out so small for the tuner mounts that the pins that are in the tuners, some of them are still in the back of the neck, so I'm going to have to try to pull those out. These holes have to be drilled a little bit more open, and one of the pegs I left without putting the nut back on, so I can put this in here. You can see that it's not the hole for the tuner that is too big, it's the hole for the peg itself that is too small. These fit in there and they're very loose, so I'm going to have to wiggle that out somehow. Now this neck is supposed to be a compound radius. So here are my radius gauges, and I'm going to start off with a 10. Okay, that's 10, 10, 10, 10. See, that's 16. All right, now there's play in this 16. Alright, so I want to try to bring this in closer so I can show that the owner that this is something's not right here as far as this neck goes. Alright, let's see something here. Now, the best way to check for your neck radius is to use a gauge. Next would be to put some type of a light behind the gauge as you look at the radius of the fretboard. Let me do this in a way where I can see. Alright, so that is on top of wood. 14, got a gap in the center. 15 is still a gap. 16 rocks back and forth and moves side to side. So I don't know if you can kind of see that there's a gap in the center. Let's see if I can get the light to kind of show us a little bit. But there's a light in the center, and I can rock this from side to side and watch the light change. So let me try to get this in here, get that to stay, and let's see if I can get the owners a good bird's eye view of this. Alright, so I am on the fret right here. I am on a 16. As you can see, there's light. Get this more towards the center. Alright, so that's a 20. Here's the 16. So I can rock that back and forth. Here's a 20. A 14, and you can see light in the center. Here is a 15. That also rocks back and forth. So let's go with the 10. 10 showing light in the center. Here's a 12. 12 is showing light in the center. And of course, a 7 is really going to show light in the center. Here is a 9. Oh yeah. Back to the 10. Alright, and that is at, let's see here, 12, 13, 14, 15, the 15th fret. So that's the 15. And like I said, the 16 wobbles. So if I move further down at a 16, I don't want to be on top of a fret marker. Because of the fact that light will come through where the fret marker is. So if I go, so here's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let's go to the 20th fret with a 16 radius. And it rocks back and forth, and I'm seeing light. Now 15 is a little better. 14, there's light in the middle. 20 rocks back and forth. 9 is way off. 10's got a big opening. 12 has got a big opening. And of course, 725 is going to have a big opening. All right, so it's close to a 16. And if I go up here, we see light. 10, there's light in the middle. 9, there's a lot of light in the middle. And of course, 7.25 is going to be a lot of light. And if we go with the 16, again with the rocking, 15, more rocking. 14, of course, there's rocking. 20, there's going to be rocking with that. So 16 touches in the middle. If I go to 10, like he said to, come on, focus. See, there's 10, it's got a little bit of light. A lot of light, a lot more light, and this rocks back and forth. So what the hell is this? So I'm going to have to talk with the owner about this after he sees this video as far as this neck goes. I do have a wrench for this. It's not in my toolbox, so I'm going to have to go and hunt it down. I think I know where it's at. This is going to have to be sanded because there are some high spots over here, like wood burring around the holes that will kind of not let the neck sit completely flat on the body itself. The frets are going to have to be addressed. They're not too bad as far as how they feel. Now, once I get the neck straightened out, because there probably is somewhat of a bow on this. Let's see. All right, so we're looking at a 25.5. Yeah, there is a little bit in the center over here, so that's got to kind of come up a little bit in order to straighten this out. So I do have to find a nut. All right, so now I know what's going on with the neck. I'll shut this off, put these away. And let's get down to tearing down the body. Alright, so as far as electronics go, they really did some shitty ass soldering job on this. Also, I want to point out this is bent. Okay, so this part here, it's not straight anymore. This straight and this curves up a little bit. That's why I was seeing inside of the pocket over here that when this was mounted, it was sitting on an angle. It's not necessary to hold because the hole is bigger, and since this is a Warmoth body, I'm sure that it has been routed out pretty flat over here, and it's not because of the body itself has a major arch in it or anything, because it really doesn't. I can see it that this is bent, and you can see there's a gap right over here at the bottom, and this is tight over here. So what I'm going to end up doing is this is all going to get replaced. I will use the original cap that came with this, or I'll find a new one, maybe an orange drop or something I'll put inside of here. I'll find out what the value of this cap is. This has got a push and pull, so it's going to be the way it's wired. As I can see right here, it is wired for taking the humbucker and turning it into a single coil along with a three-way switch. But I have to see how and what they did there with this, because they have a black wire that is tied up over here and kind of just doesn't look right the way this is wired up. And it's kind of like this is a ground wire going to a side where it's supposed to be coming from the pot to the pickup, or from the I know what the wire diagram is by looking at it, but I'm going to have to figure out what they did here because it doesn't look right. The switch here has no name on it as far as what it is. I'll have to check into it to see if it is. I could tell right now that there's oxidation a little bit inside of here, and it's going to have to be cleaned. I'll see if he wants that to be reused. We are looking at 500K pots over here with a output jack that is pretty well used and starting to show signs of rust on it. But yeah, this is some shitty ass. Oh wow, even this came off the top. This wasn't even soldered to the top, it just came off. You can see where the solder has been burned in, but it popped off as I was taking this apart. Whoever did this really did a shitty job, and I hope this, no offense to the owner if he did this or not. I don't think so. I think he purchased this as is. They got a real weird, I don't know why they have this wire here. This is a double lead insulated wire. This is something that you would see like on a pickup or something, but it's going to the ground for the sleeve for the bridge. All right, so we're pulling out the pickups now, and we got a Seymour Duncan here. This is a, all right, serial number 2N20110706. And then this one here is a 4 SK4 2011 0707. And made in America, Seymour Duncans. Wow, these are like on a thin side. There shouldn't be any issues with this at all. So this is, somebody marked it B for bridge, so when they wired it up, I will check these to make sure that they are okay and then show what the values are as well. So now I want to pop these sleeves so I can get this other wire out of here. So what I'm going to do is put, probably not this because I don't want to bend that. So where is my other, I have other sleeves over here that I use for doing this, or other pieces. So hopefully this will fit in there. Perfect. And let's see how hard this is going to be to get out. Yep, they're in there pretty good. So I'm going to have to use something from the inside to push outwards. It's my little piece of metal. Wow, these are tight. So I don't want that to fall in there and get locked into the wood. But I do want to remove these sleeves. Wow. All right, these sleeves ain't coming out. Whoever put these sleeves in there forced them in there really, really bad. And I don't want to try to pull that out and strip So I'll make sure that this will go in freely. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to pull these sleeves out. There is no way. They are not coming out. I'm using a heavy-duty screwdriver flathead with a wrench on it, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on this. It is not moving whatsoever. So if I try to pull this out, excuse me, I can risk going through the back of the body with the pin that I have inside of here, and it's not budging at all. I could tell by the way. Now this is a little bit of an arch top, and this side here is even on both sides. There's a lip on this side and there's a lip on this side of the top, so that's going to be blended in when I do the sanding. That's all I can do. So there's the body stripped down. This wire is going to have to stay, and yeah, it is a Warmoth body. Now this crack here is going through. All right, there is a binding on here, and it's a pretty thick one too. So this crack that is going through this body, it's pretty much under the binding, but when I pull on it, I do see a little bit of a split of wood, not much over there. So I'm going to have to fill that in. It's probably, you know, when the neck was put on, you know, the neck might have been tightened too tight, and it caused an issue. So this body is layered. There are a couple pieces of wood. You can see the difference over here in the wood grain. There's a layered body. So there is a, maybe, I don't know why there would be a cap on this, but there is a cap on this. And yeah. So the next thing would be to do is to start doing the stripping. All of the parts will be put in this bag. So I'm going to go ahead and, where's the tuner that doesn't have the, there it is, nut on it. And these are nice tuners too. The sleeve on this, instead of the nut going inside of the tuner like normal ones would be, this actually is a true nut that goes over the sleeve of the tuner itself. Locking, they feel good when they turn, so there's not an issue with that. The way that those pins are that are on the neck itself may be an issue. These are locking with a set screw on the back for setting the intonation, a little bit more on each side. And the intonation looks a little bit funny over here, so when I set this up, these are all the way back. This is center, pretty much. This is about center. This is all the way back, and this is almost all the way back. There's a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to have to really kind of look at this. Somebody did a screed job. Now the nut on this thing here, if I drop it, yeah, it's a bone nut. So, but it's a man-made bone nut because you can see the slot here and the slot here of when this was molded. So this could be okay. I need to check to see what the after it gets polished and everything else and cleaned and get all the glue residue and shit off of it, polish this top off. I want to make sure, because I see glue on the top over here, that this hasn't been a repair job. So on the neck, to mount the neck, we have 2 smaller screws and 2 longer screws, and they are pretty thin. They seem to have came out pretty good. There is no gasket or plastic on the back plate whatsoever. These are the 2 knobs that the guitar came with. All the screws, I'm going to end up replacing these screws because they look like shit. They're pretty much oxidized and have got a lot of plating missing on them. I mean, I can always just take a magic marker or something and put them back together. The controls, that's going to be replaced. These 2 are going to be replaced. This may not need to be replaced, but I will check it out anyways. As far as cleaning it goes, it looks like a fairly, decent switch. I can't see anything unless the owner wants me to replace that as well. That goes in the bag. That's mine. There's my chuck or for the screwdriver bit. Pickups seem to be okay. They don't look too bad as far as being oxidized on the tops over here. Doesn't look like anybody fiddled with the height of the pole pieces. They're pretty much flat or evened out with each other. But whoever did do the painting on this painted it and then assembled this way too fast. They didn't let the paint dry enough, and you can kind of see that there is a lot of indentation. You can see where the neck is and how the paint got kind of pushed around the sides over here. So originally this looks like it was a cream white at one time, and somebody painted it a white, which I'll find that out later on when I start stripping this body down. Again, I can't remove these sleeves out here. They seem to be in there friggin' tight. I mean, really tight. But I'll make sure that ground is connected before I do any assembly. The pins on the back of the headstock, if they don't come out, I'm going to have to sand around them really good. I want to do a new finish on the back of this because there is a lot of shit on here, and this edge doesn't look very good and feels a little bit rough around this edge over here where they painted it. And as you can see, there are some bleed through from underneath the masking tape when they ended up doing this. Plus I'm going to have to sand this heel down a little bit, or just find a way to knock off these burrs that are around there. Now, as far as the radius goes on this neck, again, a 10 to 16 seems to be good for a 10, like right around over here, and the rest of it just doesn't seem right. So I need to talk with the owner about this in order to do this correctly, because I don't want to end up, if the frets are good, I don't want to end up having to do a refret job. So that'll be kind of like a waste of materials and everything else. But like when I do my fret radius and stuff like that, as far as installing frets and then polishing or leveling them, polishing, crowning, polishing, all, you know, all that good stuff that you do in a fret job, I don't want to radius this wrong. And also I want to make sure that these frets are down inside. They seem to look okay. If I look down the neck, other than the slight bow over here, because I have to adjust the neck still straight, you know, they do blend into each other. So that's this video here. The guitar is stripped down and be ready for basically stripping the paint off next. Meanwhile, you know, I will be working on another guitar as well that needs to be basically the same thing done. All right, you guys, take care, have a good one, and I'll catch up with y'all later.